you don't have to be a K-pop fan to enjoy this movie. I don't even think you have to be an animated film fan to enjoy this movie. I watched it late because I had high expectations. I loved everything about it. I want us all to remember the two things left me with. One, don't settle for mediocrity from the company shoveling garbage into our mouths and calling it health food. And two, something much more simple and true, something that I really think KDH was trying to tell us. We all have our demons. We just have to find the people, our people, the real family who remind us that we don't have to hide them. We don't have to pretend that we're perfect. We can let our scars show, wear them like armor, and move forward knowing that together, we're golden.
The Why We Love podcast here at Fanward is Olivia Blair and Cody Redd. We are so excited to see what you all think about K-Pop Demon Hunters. Also, comment below what other K-pop bands, who's your favorite? Are you part of a Discord?
Animated, what's your favorite animated film? This is a this is a two-tier discussion here.
Exactly. Animated film. Are you a part of a Discord that has all your favorite people in it?
And have a great community ready to talk about stuff, man.
Yes, that's what we're here for. We're here for the community, and we're here for the fans that want to talk about the creativity around what they're creating from the characters, from the shows, from the music that inspires them. Cody, he's on book 3 now that's been published this year.
No. Technically, if you count my children's book, I'm on book 4, but
book 4.
My 4th book will come out in March.
Yes. So we have Wicker Hill.
I'm gonna start writing my 5th one next month. Which is a romance. No horror this time. Romance.
Guys, I'm ready for some romance. We were briefly talking about this. I want some good romance.
It'll definitely come up in this conversation for sure.
I want some good romance.
It'll definitely come up in this conversation.
But let's dive into K-Pop Demon Hunters.
Everything that it means.
Yes. So
it means so much more than just a K-pop movie.
No, I will have to say this. I have not cried multiple times in a movie for a long time. The lines, just the symbolization of the scars, the hiding, the way that they talk about shame and how it eats you up. I was like, oh my goodness. And then when Rumi was talking about just hope and like just how we can't let it die. And I was just like, there was just so many lines in this movie outside of the music that I'm like, this is, I haven't, like I said, I've not cried I have not felt so many different levels of emotion multiple times versus just once. Lately, it's been like, oh, I get a twinge. I kind of get, my throat gets choked up. But do I sit there and like lay and like little tears stream down my face? No.
I'm a crier. So like if I see a good movie, I cry. Everything Everywhere All at Once. Leap Year, which is one of my favorite rom-coms ever. I would love to talk about that more. And yeah, K-Pop Demon Hunters, the end. The end gets me really hard. The scene where she's talking to Celine next to the dead tree, talking about how you never loved me or you never loved all of me. Like if you've ever experienced, and if you've ever had a dark side or a demon, an eating disorder, a mental issue, like a mental disorder, anything that makes you different, anything that makes you feel, and it could be a bad thing. It could be, nothing at all. But if you've ever had anything like that, K-Pop Demon Hunters is speaking your language.
Yes.
And you don't have to be a K-pop fan to enjoy this movie. I don't even think you have to be an animated film fan to enjoy this movie. And the reason I say that is because from the very first screen that they're on screen, the characters are unbelievable. They're just absolutely filled to the brim with personality. And the animation just feeds into the screen. And almost immediately, they tell you exactly who every girl is within the first 10 seconds. You know exactly who they are and what kind of personalities they have. And you immediately cling to one. For me, it was Zoe, the girl with the buns on her hair. I loved her so much. As you can see, I'm not talking crap. I've got Rumi, Zoe, and Mira right here. I'm not talking crap. I'm in for it. I don't know if you can tell. I'm in for it. But welcome to the Marrow Lab, by the way. This is the first podcast in the Marrow Lab. Nice, good stuff. Yeah,
Yes.
let's go.
Let's go.
But yeah, dude, K-pop Demon Hunters, I don't even want to talk about it as a K-pop movie. I
No,
don't want to talk about
that's
it
why I
in the
loved.
K-pop sense.
Yes.
Yeah, it was so. Name another movie that has given you that emotional reaction in the last 5 years.
I don't even know if this would have been the last 5 years. The closest to it was Inside Out.
I wonder how long that was.
But that is like, but it was along the same vein of, you know, not hiding the things we have inside and just like all those things. And that's showing the difference in personalities. Dude, when was that? Don't tell me it was like 10 years ago.
It was 11 years ago, dude.
Okay, that's wild because that feels like yesterday because that's how strong that feeling was. The last movie that made me cry like that in the sense of like for an animated movie.
Mm-hmm.
Damn, now I'm questioning when's the last time a movie made me cry that wasn't done in the last 10 years. That's 11 years ago.
I've told you mine is Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Yeah.
Everything Everywhere All at Once. And we're going to get into this topic about the love and the hope that is completely devoid. Cinema is completely devoid of.
Yeah.
We're going to get into that in a minute. I guarantee it. But the story that Everything Everywhere All at Once and K-pop Demon Hunters tell is all about acceptance and love and hope.
Yeah. Yes.
And it's not at any time is it about giving up your virtue to accept something.
No.
Never at any time is it saying you can't be this because I'm this. It's saying I'm this. Okay. I'm this. Okay. I love you.
Yes. Yeah.
And both of them are the only movies in the last 5 to 10 years that I can really think, like if I'd have to think really hard. The only ones that I can really think that made me cry. And then like with Everything Everywhere All at Once, when we walked out of the theater, we weren't even to the car yet. We were in the parking garage. I looked at my wife and I said, I've got to see it again. And she said, I don't want to cry again. And I said, well, too bad. We're going to see it. So we went to go see it 2 more times. And K-pop Demon Hunters, I watched it late because I had high expectations. I love K-pop. I've been lambasted and destroyed by Hollywood movies lately. I don't trust it. I don't trust movies anymore. I know that if I go into one, I'm going to get preached to or whatever, just whatever. I'm not going to leave the movie feeling good. So I was like, if I see K-pop Demon Hunters, my expectations are going to fail.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be left I'm going to lose some sort of love for K-pop. So I held off until like the last minute. We didn't watch it until an hour and a half before New Year's.
Oh, wow.
And it finished right before 12 o'clock. And I loved everything about it. It was everything. I wrote a blog literally 30 minutes after we watched it. I wrote a blog called K-pop Demon Hunters is amazing and Hollywood should be ashamed of itself.
Wow.
Because K-pop Demon Hunters made Disney look bad. They made DreamWorks look bad. They made Pixar look bad. Any animated film company studio that calls itself AAA should look at K-pop Demon Hunters and send every single person who watches their movies an apology.
Yeah.
That is how good K-pop Demon Hunters was. And I'm not saying it was the greatest written movie or the greatest acted movie or the greatest animated movie. What I'm saying is that when I was a kid, every time I went into the movie theater, I would walk out a different person. And I told you this. Jurassic Park, I walked out an archaeologist. I walked out wanting to be Sam Neill, a middle-aged, dude in a hat and a scarf. I wanted to be that guy because the characters were so strong. And the writing and the dinosaurs and the visuals, everything just caught me. And then another one was Twister. I was always terrified of storms.
Oh my God, yeah.
So I want to segue just a second. One time we went to go see Twister, and I was terrified of storms. Okay, so I would watch the weather all the time. We went to go see Twister, and I hear tornado sirens. I lived in Kentucky, Western Kentucky, right in the middle of Tornado Alley, basically. And I hear tornado sirens, and my mom goes, we're sitting in the theater watching the movie. And my mom goes, that's in the movie. What are you talking about? That's in the movie. I said, I don't think it's in the movie. I walk outside, look out the windows. The sky is green. If the sky is green, that's
Oh, yeah.
atmospheric disturbance. That's what
Yes.
causes it. That's a sign that you're in the middle of a tornado. A tornado passed through the city while we were watching Twister. It's badass.
Okay, that's
first
wild.
time.
That's fucking
Yeah,
wild.
but I left Twister wanting to be a storm chaser.
Yes.
You know, I left the first X-Men movie wanting a leather suit and wanting steel claws and wanting a laser beam shooter out of my eyes. Technically, they're not laser beams; they're actually from another dimension. That's irrelevant. But my point is
Fun
that every time I left the theater, I was a different person. I was dramatically, and I still am, intrinsically changed by the movies I watched 30 years ago. That's crazy. I still love dinosaurs.
That's what I would love to know, like, from you guys, from everyone that's like, we're here watching this. What is a movie or a show or even a band that intrinsically changed who you were the moment you watched it, like right after you finished watching it? Because we have those songs. Dave and I, we were in Texas, and music came up from when we first playlists that we had created when we first moved here in 2013. And I hadn't heard these songs in, 10 probably years, quite some time. And we played those songs. And those were the songs when we first moved here to motivate us and to keep us focused. And we would go on a run. There were like two songs that I would always listen to while running. And he and I started laughing because when I first started running, I had this deep anxiety of being left behind. So David and I would be running, and I would always, because he ran more than I did, I would be like quite a bit back, just crying, having anxiety of going, oh my goodness, I'm being left. Like, we're on a 6-mile run. What if I can't do this? But these songs were the ones playing, and they would just motivate me and keep me going. And they were just like that thing that kept me going. And it was like rage songs, but it would fuel this anger of like being left behind, just because I, during that time, had a lot of anxiety. And it's just so funny how when you're running and all those things come out, it's not reality. No one's leaving me behind. I'm just fine. But it's so fascinating how our minds perceive, being running after someone, and what your brain tells you and your body tells you when it's not, everything's okay. But it was that music. And as soon as we heard it, we were driving and we're just like singing at the top of our lungs, because it's just like all those memories came back, because it was something that intrinsically changed us. And I think that's what was so beautiful about every song on here. And even I loved the fact with them hunting for the right song, and it being so important to what would alter the world, to what would impact the fans, to what would save people. The care, even in their storytelling about talking about the right song, is important.
Right.
And even if they're not all agreeing on it, because I love the scene when when the girl, she's like, finally like, yeah, you're right. It's not the right song, because if it can't bring us together, how's it going to heal the fans? How's it going to save the fans? And I'm like, oh, I love that, because so much of the things that we create, people go, oh, just put it out there. We just need to get something out there. We just need to, whatever.
Make $1 billion and
whatever. All the reasons are, and I'm sure the stews will be able to say, oh, yes, to save jobs, to keep things going so we can keep making things. I don't understand. I do it. There's businesses to be run, but it's them going, we have to save the world, which means we have to pick the right song. And so that song at the end was just so beautiful, because they were singing it and writing it in the moment.
Yes.
And I think that's what storytelling was so powerful to me, because the stories we tell and the stories we create, they were in the moment telling their story. They were pouring out their pain and facing it. And they were speaking to themselves and giving hope back to themselves, and not hiding themselves and going, I'm done hiding. Here I am. And when you come from a space where you're creating something from within you, it connects with an audience that goes, I'm that person too.
Yeah.
Versus trying to go, oh, what is something they liked in the past? Okay, what we can redo? Like, so analytical. It's like speaking from this space. And that's what I was looking at the writers with Maggie Kong. She was the director and creator, and she's from Seoul, South Korea. And I was like, that's really cool, because she was talking about just like her love for K-pop, and just like bringing those into it. And then I'm trying to remember, there was the other writer, which I also loved, who I think is Dana. and she was from like Tijuana, New Mexico, and how she learned same thing I hear about with the fans here within our community, how they learned English watching American
Yeah.
movies, and she learned English from Lizzie McGuire and the Real Housewives of Orange County, and it makes me think of the fans here, even within our community, who talk about from Big Time Rush or from Power Rangers or
Power
Teen Wolf,
Rangers.
learned English from watching something they loved and how it helped them become a part of a community, and it inspired them to create, inspired them to move across the world. And I'm like, that to me is what art, that's what creation, being a creative does. You are giving
Right.
hope to someone else for a better life and to find connection. It is hope and it's connection, because
And
this
that's
show,
what,
this movie brings us all together now. And I think to me,
right.
I'm like, that's what
Yes.
art should be doing.
That's exactly what art should be doing, which is why I said, like, when I was a kid, I would always leave the theater as a different person. And people will say, oh, that's just a kid thing. Like every kid does that. No. I mean, yes, but why do we have to let go of that? Like, why are we expected not to do
Yes.
that just because we're adults? If I go see a Superman movie, I should want to leave the theater as an adult male, right? As a man, as a, you know, as a woman too. Like, you should want to leave the theater inspired. You should want to think, how can I be Superman for just one person?
Yes.
Just one person. Like that, you save a life. You've lived your life to the fullest. And it's like, that was pretty deep. I might put that on a shirt.
I love
But
it.
the reason I know it's not true, that it's only a kid thing, is because I haven't felt that way about a movie in a very long time.
Yeah.
Maybe most recently that I can think of, maybe the Harry Potter movies. Who doesn't want to leave the theater and be a wizard? Like, come on. Like, you know.
Yep.
But again, those were well-written movies with characters that mattered, and platonic relationships and romantic relationships that mattered, and et cetera, et cetera. Before that, maybe Lord of the Rings or The Matrix. I can't think of anything after those, except for K-Pop Demon Hunters. When I finished K-Pop Demon Hunters, I didn't just go, oh, that was good, I could watch it again. I went, I want more. I want to see the characters doing more. I want as much merch as I can get. I want all the action figures. I want a TV show. I want a t-shirt. I want another movie. And what I realized when I was writing my blog, because I just talk to myself, that's all I do. That's all
Good.
this is. It's just us
Exactly.
revealing ourselves.
Yeah.
But what I realized when I was writing the blog is I didn't want to see them fighting demons. Like, yeah, that was cool. It looked great. The music was amazing. I wanted them to be my best friend, dude. And when I watch any movie, and I'm not just non-studios, like they release good movies every once in a while, sometimes, not really. I just felt like I just wanted them to be my best friend. And I don't feel that with any other movie. Like I don't go see Sinners and think, oh, I'm going to invite these guys over to dinner, you know?
Yeah.
With K-Pop Demon Hunters, I was like, I'm just going to buy them a bunch of snacks, like, and let them sit on my couch.
And I think that's what I love.
Couch.
That's what I was saying. They had these little chants. They had these things that brought you together and made it very human. And speaking of Sinners, because Sinners to me on so many levels was there. I loved the storytelling. I mean, the cinematography was amazing.
I'm not at all saying it was a bad movie.
No, I'm talking, no. And it was a great movie. You and I talked about this offline. I wanted to see more of a redemption love story. I wanted to see more of
positivity,
the vulnerability, like even between him and his wife and with the child. And I wanted to see more redemption, not just coming back out of pain. And when they had sex and they were like together, it was like, it was very like in pain. It wasn't this healing. And I'm like, no, I want to see something restored. And I think that's what the K-Pop Demon Hunters gave. There felt like there was a restoration to balance in life. And I think that's where balance was returned, which means everyone as individuals could be themselves without shame. To me, that's balance. If, like you said, if I can show up and go, here's all my scars, and the people in your life go, cool. Like,
here's mine.
There isn't this whole like, oh, good, you showed yours. We're going to keep quiet, act like ours don't exist. And I think that's where it's like when she said the line, that's the funny thing about hope. No one gets to decide if you feel it. To me, that was so powerful because what we each define as our hope or what we define as being seen and what that looks like is so important to each individual. And like you said, they did not tell the person that they had to change their version of hope or had to change their definition on what shame was to them. They didn't tell them
Right.
that's not real. Oh, don't just
Well,
like
Celine did.
Celine did. That's what I'm
Celine did.
saying. And that's what I'm talking about. Like, but that in story, we got the redemption. And
Yeah.
like we talked about before, a lot of these shows sometimes still go, they convince the person that they needed, they're trying to convince the audience to hide their shame. They're trying to
Right.
convince the audience to not have hope in a reality that gives them hope. They're going, no, no, this
Well,
is the definition of hope. This is the definition of being shameful. This is the definition of etiquette and what's proper or not proper. This is common sense. You should know these things. Don't feel them. That you cannot tell
right.
a human person to not. That doesn't exist.
But what I think Hollywood actually, and not just Hollywood, but books and everything, I think what it actually does, I think it does that at both extremes.
Yeah, it's always
It tells
extremes.
you, yeah, it tells you either you have to accept this or you're wrong, or you have to fix this or you're wrong, right?
Yeah.
Those are your choices. Like either you're wrong or you have to accept what my wrongness is or what I am, not necessarily wrongness.
Yeah.
It could be anything. But it doesn't give you the option to choose whether to choose which side you want to be on or if you want to be in the middle. And what K-pop Demon Hunters does is it lets you be in the middle. Because literally, when they see Rumi's marks the first time, her best friends draw their weapons.
Oh, I know. I was like feeling that. I was like,
that was the moment where I was like, oh shit, this movie means it. Like,
yeah,
this isn't just an acceptance story, right? Because my blog is very much about how it is an identity story, but it is not the identity story you're used to, where it's just constantly acceptance and joy and everybody's proud and happy and you're strong and powerful. No, it was you're not strong and powerful and that's okay.
yeah,
Right?
you're human
Because
and that's
right,
okay.
her being a demon or her being half demon is just an analogy for her demons.
Yes.
Her mistakes, it's all an analogy for that. But what them drawing the weapons on her meant that human beings react a certain way
Yes.
to traumatic experiences.
Yes. And to terms and to stories. We react to things that have been programmed in us.
Right. So when Zoe and Mira draw their weapons on her, I related to that because I have had people tell me things and my first reaction is anger or fear or whatever. But then my brain goes, oh, wait, this is my friend. Like,
yes,
of course, like who cares? Like but that moment, and it's kind of an undercut moment. It goes by really fast. Like that weapon draw moment is almost like blink and you miss it.
But yeah, but you felt it.
Yeah, yeah.
Because I think it's so true to us.
It is. And I think it's one of the most dynamic moments in the scene or in the movie. And I was talking to Bobby about our good buddy Bobby Calloway, another shout out.
I know.
He gets one like every episode because he's so amazing.
I know he needs to be sponsored.
Totally is though.
I feel like he is sponsoring us with his energy.
Bobby's great. Bobby is so positive and great. And I'm going to take a second to talk about how amazing Bobby is. But
I think he's going to send me a script to read. I'm excited.
Oh, hell yeah. Dude's amazing. Anyway, we were talking about K-pop Demon Hunters.
Yes.
And the moment that stood out to us most was after Rumi gets revealed and after Mira and Zoe draw their weapons on her, she goes to see Celine in the dark forest.
Yeah.
Now, Celine is the woman who basically raised her. It's not her mother. It's her mother. Her mother was a K-pop singer and Celine was her bandmate. Celine ended up raising Rumi and all her life was telling her to hide the marks, hide the demon marks, keep it a secret. Don't tell anybody. They don't want to know who you really are. If they know who you really are, they'll hate you. So there's a scene, and this is a spoiler. There's a scene where she goes, and I think it's a big spoiler because it's, in my opinion, the strongest part of the movie. Next to the end, and the animation and the songs and the characters. Just go watch the movie. It's really good. But But there's a scene where she goes see Celine after she's already been revealed. She's been revealed so much, and her voice is being lost, so she's becoming more demon than human. So she goes to see Celine. Her eyes glowing yellow. Her demon marks are showing. Um, she goes to see Celine, and she confronts her, and she basically says, "Why didn't you love me?" And this line, she basically says, "Why didn't you love me?" And she goes, "I did." And the whole time she's covering up her arms with her jacket and trying to
Yes.
we can tell them it was all a trick. We can tell them it was all part of the show. They don't need to know this is real. They don't need it. And Rumi basically, I think she says, I've already seen it like 3 times, but I can't remember the exact line. But I think she says, "No, why didn't you love all of me?"
Wow.
I think that's such a
Yes.
strong line because she said, "You love me, but why didn't you love all of me?"
Well,
Now, the great part about this is, I'll let you hit in just a second, but
no, I literally have goosebumps under here. I'm just like, because
this is the
that
part Bobby
line.
hit. Bobby hit a part on me that I didn't realize until I watched it the second time. And Bobby, it's because he's brilliant. They never gave Celine an "it's okay" moment. They never told Celine, and if you watch a movie, especially an animated movie, right? You'll have a moment where the bad guy gets a moment of, "Don't worry, I understand you.
Yeah.
It's okay." Celine doesn't get this. After Rumi says, "Why didn't you love all of me?" Celine basically falls to her knees and is left in a dark forest to deal with her shame, which is what the whole movie is about. And I think that is a positive thing. And here's why. Because Rumi had spent her entire life believing she was 50% bad.
Yeah.
You and I know what that feels like.
Yes.
So when she confronts Celine after losing her friends, after losing her voice, the Hanmoon is breaking, the guardian barrier that protects the earth from demons is breaking. She looks at Celine and she says, "No, I'm not okay with this," and just leaves. And Celine just sits in a dark forest by herself with her shame. So the reason I think that's positive and it's amazing storytelling is because Celine spent all her Rumi's life covering up Rumi's shame.
Yes.
And Rumi left her with her own.
Yes. I think to me, what I love about that is the lesson that tells us we can't take personal responsibility for someone else.
Right.
Because someone like Rumi, she wanted to be loved so much. And from a personality like that, we also try to justify why the people that hurt us also did it.
Yeah. Yes.
And it's very hard to go, it is now no longer any of my business why you did or didn't do that. This is what I feel. I need to face this. You face your stuff.
Yeah,
and so I think the fact that she wasn't cruel, she wasn't anything. It was her taking full responsibility for her life and going, even if you don't accept me, I'm now okay with it because out of survival for myself, I'm done hiding. I have to accept this or I fully become a demon. Right. It is literally a life and death situation in this sense. It is I think that's with us as humans. If we don't fully accept ourselves, if we constantly wait for permission from the people that we love most to fully see, or we feel like we have to tiptoe around, it was such a powerful moment. I love that you brought that up because that I think is the hardest thing to do with someone that we love, because her mother, Celine, was not this evil person. So you couldn't attach a hate to her. Like you said, you couldn't. Right. She was very human. And all of our relationships are all complicated.
Ultimately, she was just trying to protect Rumi.
Oh my goodness.
Like it wasn't.
It was when I see this, and I think that's the other thing I loved about it was sometimes in the world we live in, when we put labels on people, it's much easier for us to, online especially, talk bad about them or shame them or remove their hope or remove what gives them hope, in the sense of we shame them by saying, you shouldn't like this, you shouldn't love this. So we remove pieces of them that give them hope and help them survive. And we have no idea what we're doing because we get to do it on the keyboard. But when it's a child you love, when it's someone you care about, suddenly they become human to you. So when you have to come face to face with someone and you've gone through life with them, or you have something in common, suddenly you're surprised at going, oh, wow, we're not that different. I now feel something for you. And we start to justify in our mind why we want it to be okay for them. So when I
Yeah.
looked at Celine, you know, she believed all demons should die. She had a very black and white version of this, but this child was connected to someone she loved, which meant she saw a version of her own life in her. She saw a version of
Yeah.
her favorite memories in her. So it's very, in a sense, selfish, but she saw something in her that was connected to her life that mattered, which made Rumi human, which made her not full demon, which gave her a sense of okay back that justified Celine to go, you're worth protecting, you're worth loving. The thing is, we all have that in us. If it's the empathy, the whole thing is understanding breeds empathy. She had an
Right.
understanding of who she was. And so I loved that. It also showed the narrative of when you start to care, when you start to love somebody, you see them differently. But sometimes still, if you're not willing to deal with the shame, it was like her mother had all those fears, then she kept wanting the child to cover up. How many of us have felt that in our life where we know our family
Right.
loves us, but oh my goodness, or we know our friend loves us or our partner loves us, but there's parts of us that they're going, I can't deal with this because of
Yeah.
something in me. Please
Dude,
cover
can
it
I
up.
backpack? Can I backpack off
Oh,
that?
100%. And then I've got to tell you, I did not realize that Maggie Kong's daughter, she named Rumi after her daughter, which is so fucking
Oh,
cool.
that's even better. That's just even more amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm a K-pop fan. No shit.
Yeah.
Anyway, I joined the Discord for Twice, which is my favorite group. Obviously, their logos here, their members are here. My wall is Twice. My life is Twice. Everything but my wife is Twice. That rhymed, and I like it. I think I might make a song. Anyway, I joined the Twice Discord, and over the last week, I'm gonna give some shout outs to these guys because it's been pretty amazing what I've experienced. Stupid to get emotional over that.
No, no such thing. We cry about movies. Why not get emotional?
I'll fix it. The girls in Twice are really hot,
Oh,
okay?
shut the fuck up.
And no, this is actually relevant.
Okay.
And so in the Twice Discord, there's 140,000 members, right? And one by one, you start recognizing names. Like, oh, I've seen this name in the chat 1,000 times. I recognize this name. These three, they're three, Lottie, Aiden, and Almond. I'm gonna give them shout outs. I don't understand it, dude. It's like it's been a week, but like we're falling asleep in Discord video chat with each other. Like just camera on, dude. Like just laying
Yeah.
in bed, falling asleep, talking, watching Twice music videos. But like the reason we bonded is because in the Twice Discord, you have to be a little bit more civilized. Okay.
Yeah.
But the girls in Twice are hot.
Yes.
So we created our own Discord with just the four of us called Folding Chairs because every time our favorite girl gets on screen, we fold, like, oh.
Yes.
And our whole Discord is just us constantly folding over these girls. But look, I have made three of the best friends, dude. Like, you wouldn't believe it. Dude, it's insane. Like, I can't really express, like, I don't have a lot of friends, right? I live in Thailand. I don't speak the language. I'm trying. All my friends are online. I've got you. I've got my friend David. I've got David. I've got Liu. That's about it, And it's like when I meet a friend online, I still feel kind of, you know,
Hmm.
my scars, whatever.
Yes.
But with this group, Aiden, Lottie, and Almond, we all just said, these girls are hot. We're gonna fold. Let's make our own group where we can fold together. And it started like that. But now, I don't know if I should say that. We've helped each other better their like some really low stuff. We've
Yeah.
helped that up. I'm not going to reveal that. I don't want to say that.
Yeah.
But like just in a week,
Yeah.
it's crazy how when you show your scars and somebody else's pattern matches yours, how deep
Mm.
that is. It's so, dude, they have done everything they can to advertise my YouTube channel. They share every video. We'll watch a video. We'll be watching a video, and I'm talking about this because it's relevant to what we're talking about. I'm not just rambling. We will watch a video on video chat, and they'll switch to one of my YouTube videos and start talking about how great I am
Wow.
or how funny I am. And they're laughing on camera, and they're agreeing with me, and they're going valid. And it's just, that's the kind of friend everybody needs. And the only reason we're friends is because we all saw each other's scars
Yes.
and we made a group out of it. And I told you, I was like, I haven't felt like I've had friends like this in years. Crazy. And it's on this Discord. They
But
went
to
and
me, that's
followed
the
me on
power of it. That's
yeah, they went and followed me on everything, sharing my YouTube links, everything. And it's like, dude, it's like, but see, that's when you know, and I always say this, and this should be on a t-shirt. I've said this ever since I lost that first 100 pounds and I got that job and I met my friend Carissa, who helped change my life. There's another shout out. When you're on the right path, you meet the right people.
Yeah.
Because because if you're on the right path, you're meeting people who are also on that path. And these people are, I've got one of them's in Australia, one of them's in Hong Kong. I don't know where Almond lives. I think it's Philippines. I don't know. But you're talking a worldwide friendship,
yes.
all because we showed our scars. And what Rumi was taught her entire life was to hide them. So what did she miss out on that entire time? I mean, of course, she had Mira and Zoe, and by the end of the movie, you know, they're hunky dory and singing the most amazing song I've ever fucking heard. And it's like,
Oh my God, I
that
love the
last
music.
scene is so yeah,
I
it's so
love the
dope.
music. I love the Demons music, dude. It was just
Oh yeah,
everything
dude.
about it. The
We're gonna
words.
talk about the boys soon. We
Oh,
gotta
they were
talk about the boys soon.
amazing.
Yeah, but what Rumi's story tells you is that it's not a story about, hey, you're strong and you're perfect. It's a
No.
story about you're not, and I love you anyway.
Yeah.
God damn. How many Hollywood movies are doing that? I got nothing. Everything Everywhere All at Once. That's the only one I've got.
Yeah.
And before we go on to the boys, because I do really want to talk about the boys, because they did something special with the boys that Hollywood also doesn't do. But before we move on to that, I have lost my train of thought. What was I going to say? Don't remember. So let's just move on to the boys.
Okay, before we do, I do have to say my favorite scene with the opening scene, and you mentioned before, where you instantly, when it comes to them within less than 2 to 3 minutes, I know exactly who they are, their personalities.
This is actually what I was going to say. Good job.
You tune in right away. What I loved the most about the opening scene was the full spectrum of girls, but guys do this too. Just humans,
Yes.
okay? So you see their instantly which ones are, you know, the cranky, whatever, just like guarded, the emotional one in a sense. They show all their, in a sense, quote unquote, flaws in a second, but yet they're not flaws, they're human. And so they're not
Quirks.
actually, they're quirks. And so they don't make them feel like they're bad. They show their powerfulness when they're fighting the demons, and then they go back the eating, the ramen scene, and their face and
the faces
of how they're eating food so fast. I was like, oh my God, maybe all girls don't eat this way, but I know I do. Like when girls are not around guys,
or when my wife is around me.
Yes, or when you're with someone you just implicitly just like you don't care at this point, you're just complete trust. But the way they eat, I'm like, oh, it felt so honest because, like,
Yes.
from the crying to dramatic to instant fight scene badass. I'm like, that is all of us. I mean, I'm like, especially as a girl, I was like, dude, I related to that so much because I love I love food and I love eating and I love sitting in my bed and just binge eating. And then, but I also love being healthy. And then it's just like, I also just want to like look like shit, but I also do want to dress up and fucking feel like I can take on the world and be a warrior. And their facial expressions and the over dramatization wasn't was actually real. Because I was like, that's how we really are when we're just like,
it was the facial expressions are so excessive that they revert to recognizable.
yes.
Like, oh, I know what that face means.
Yes.
Just like an emoji, right? Emojis
Yes.
aren't actual faces, but they tell you exactly what the person is feeling.
Yes.
And what I love most about this entire movie is that it lets their characters be human.
And they snap it so quickly. They
Yes.
literally do like
Just like
scene,
us.
drama, instant we go into mode. Because that's what I
Yeah.
feel like. I'm like, no, it's not. When I'm in an energy thing, it's like you go, and then you come back and you're like, focus.
Yeah.
Do my job.
And
that is us.
Yes. Every day. I mean, I do it every day.
Oh, I just
It's like when I get on the elliptical,
spilling coffee all over myself. Yes.
Stop making messes. Now you got to make crazy face.
That's why I am. I'm like covered in coffee.
When I'm on the elliptical, I get something I call cardio aggression because my testosterone starts to get really high. I start to get like, I'm not an angry person. You know this. I don't get angry at anything, except for something. But
except for something.
But except for that. But when I get cardio aggression, it's like if somebody sends me a message or something that I don't want to hear, I'm like, well, that's fucking great, ain't it? And like, it's just so...
Okay. I have to give a shout out. I feel like for the first time in our friendship, we had a cardio aggression conversation the other night. And I was so proud. I was like on the other side, I'm like, oh, we're working through this. I'm actually pissed right now. And I'm like, and he's pissed right now. And I'm like, I felt like it was that moment where we became the true friendship, because that is the friendship I have with my friend Lindsay. We had this one point in our relationship where the true aggression came out and we full on fought. Like we were fighting. Like I tackled her. We were on the ground physically fighting. We were biting each other. She had bruises. I had a bloody lip. We were like 19, 20. Okay.
Mm-hmm. That'll do it.
We had so much fun though. But that was that moment when we were done. We were laughing so hard because it was like, oh, we made through this moment. Like, okay, we're officially like, we can freaking tackle anything. So anyways, so I just went, when you said in the text, sorry, I worked out. I have a lot of testosterone right now.
That's my realization though. Like Liu sent me something the other day from immigration because we were applying for my visa or whatever. And I was on the elliptical at the time.
Oh my God, no.
And I basically told her, I was like, just tell them to fuck it. I was like, God damn, I'll just fucking like, just if they can't take what I've given them, like, I wasn't mad at her, right?
Yes.
I was just like, just tell them I'm done. Like, I don't give a shit. I've sent them everything they asked for, whatever. It's just, I'm only like that during cardio. Anyway.
No, but we all are. Okay, but that's what I love. So back to the K-pop Demon Hunters. That's what I loved about it. They showed these moments where it's like they allowed that actual realness when we lose our shit.
Yeah.
And we actually don't. I think we need to stop saying that in the sense of like, oh, they lost their shit, or oh, they had a moment. No. They had what is called regulating their body. Right. Like this is called regulation. People, it's like not actual.
Just like Mira and Zoe drawing their weapons on their best friend.
Yes.
It's an emotional response to something that is going, everything our brain is used to and knows.
Yes.
Is broken.
Yes.
I'm not okay.
Yes.
And
I think we should allow people to be like, it's okay to not be okay. It's okay to have a moment where you're going, yeah.
And that's
I'm drawing my sword on you.
That's the thing that movies like K-pop Demon Hunters and Everything Everywhere All at Once does, is it lets these people say, like, it lets the hero just kind of suck for a minute.
Yes.
You know?
Dude, because we all suck.
Like, why would I like this character? You know, like a moment where you go, why would I like this character? And one of my biggest ones is Yennefer from The Witcher.
Oh, yeah.
I am not talking about the TV show, Olivia. Don't go there or I will get cardio aggression. Yennefer from The Witcher is cold. She's calculating. She's decisive. She makes decisions based on logic and what needs to be done. She doesn't think emotionally. She doesn't think about, like, there's one point in Witcher 3 where she raises a man from the dead to ask him a question.
Oh, wow.
The thing is, though, is that necromancy in the Witcher universe is incredibly, excruciatingly painful for the body that gets resurrected because they're already dead. So their body is dead. But Geralt basically says, you realize you bring him back, he's going to suffer until he dies again. And she goes, we need the information.
Wow.
So she does it. But Yennefer is one of my favorite characters of all time because there are times in your life when you have to say, this is going to hurt somebody and I can't help it. And that, in a lot of ways, was what Mira and Zoe were doing when they drew those weapons. Because it was going to hurt them as just as much as it was going to hurt Rumi if they got into a fight. Because Mira and Zoe loved Rumi. So it's like, they're both, them drawing weapons hurts them just as much as it does Rumi. They are hurting in that scene. They're not just pissed.
And I think that's what we don't realize, because like, even for me, I remember when I had to make the decision to move to LA. And my mom, she had just lost, her mother was going through cancer. And so she was feeling a lot of loss.
Yeah.
And even for her, she was like, why do you have to leave right now? Like, basically, like, this is like the idea of you moving away.
The most understanding woman in the world, by the way, for people who
oh my gosh, yes.
Yeah.
And I remember that feeling of, you know, struggling, because I knew for me, if I did not leave then, I felt like I'm done. Like, I'm at my capacity. Like, I've got to leave. This has done, like, I loved my mom, but I needed to I needed change so bad that I was like, this is my moment. I know I'm supposed to go. But it was also like, my brother now who lives with me, he also was like, you're leaving me. Like, you know, those people, because I took care of these, like, Gabe and I talk about all the time, you know, he's like, he's such a dick. He's like, anytime I get pissed at him about anything, he's like, well, you raised me, so if you don't like it, it's your fault, you know? And I'm like, fuck you. But it's probably true. So, because all the nice qualities come from my mom, all the mouthy ass qualities probably do come from me.
No,
I know. Oh, that's a whole other rant. Anyways, because his friends were mad at him, how he refuses to watch a movie that he doesn't like, or if he starts watching it, like, he'll just start ranting on it in the middle of the movie and want to turn it off. And they're like, Olivia, tell him how ridiculous it is. I said,
you want me to yell at the mirror?
I said, this is the first time I cannot be on your side, because I realize that's 100% me. Like, Gabe gets mad at me because I refuse to watch certain movies because I'm like, no. And I'm like, oh, he does the exact same thing. But saying all that moment where you're going, this is going to hurt somebody. And that's how I felt. I'm like, I knew how much it was hurting my mom, and I wanted to stay to help her. And I knew what this was doing. And I'm like, she was already feeling so much loss. I also was feeling so much loss. I had just been through a divorce, and we both needed something. And we could not be the person that solved that problem for each other, because we were both in so much pain. We had to solve it ourselves. And that is so hard. It's like what you're talking about. I'm going to make a decision, even though I know it's hurting someone I love so much. And me leaving them is that. And that's what I loved about that moment too, when she left her in the woods again. And when the friends drew the swords.
I actually think that applies even more to another moment in the story. And I think this is a good segue into the boys. The main male character.
Yes.
Genu.
Oh, what a great name too.
Yeah, no. And voice acting was top notch.
Oh my God. I need to see who his face is. I feel
like his voice actor was on, like, I think he was probably the best not singer, but because the voice actors did not do the singing. They were different.
Oh, really? Oh my God. What?
They had, because Audrey Nuna did this. Audrey Nuna, shout out to Audrey Nuna. Audrey Nuna, I have been a fan of yours since you had like 16,000 followers on YouTube. Freaking Time, Space. Oh my God. Like, every one of your songs, I just fucking bangers, dude. Like, get over here on our podcast, talk to us. You're a freaking Academy Award winning, like, voice. I don't know. Did you get an award? You should have, but you were there, right? Just come talk to us, please. You're amazing, and I love you. But Genu, in relation to your story about it's going to hurt somebody, but I have to go, right? Yeah. I did the same thing when I moved to Thailand. But you know, the last thing I ever said to my granny in person was "I love you," and I hugged her. You know, and she died after that. And my mom has come over here and visited and stuff, but I knew if I stayed where I was going to become useless.
Yeah.
Because that's just I knew for me that's what I was going to become. Not everybody would, but for me, I was. Genu was once a human in like the 1800s. As a matter of fact, one point Rumi calls him old, and I think that line is so funny because he's
I
like
loved
super handsome and
yes.
young K-pop, but he's actually like 1,000 years old or whatever. But in his story, the reason he becomes a demon is because of his shame again, right?
Yes.
And his shame comes from his voice was so powerful and so good that the king at that time, or emperor, whatever they had, the leader of that time wanted him to live in his court because of his voice. But Genu had a mother and a sister, and the king didn't want the mother and the sister. He only wanted Genu. And Genu accepted and left his mother and sister basically poor and living in shacks. That is Genu's shame. That's what turned him into a demon. Now, this is the best written male character I have seen in a movie. Again, since Everything Everywhere All at Once, I guess.
Wow.
I don't think male character. Look, I'm just being straight. You can cut it if you want, but male characters are not allowed to be men anymore. The only thing male characters are allowed to be are bad guys, antagonists, or dumb as rocks. That's it. That's what you get. Genu was brave. He was bad. He was good. He understood. He was self-aware. He understood his shame.
Yeah.
He was a monster. He was a man. And he ends his story by sacrificing himself for the hero. His last line is heartbreaking.
Mm-hmm.
He says, either Rumi says it or he says it, but one of them says either I saved your soul or you saved my soul. And then Genu says, and now I give it to you. And he dies to save them. As a demon, he is a demon at this point still. And he dies and he redeems himself, like you were talking about earlier, gone from every movie. And he redeems himself. And one of my favorite things about this movie was that as a man, not once did I feel dumb. Not once did I feel like a bad guy. Now, Genu was the bad guy at the start. They were trying to possess the souls of everybody on Earth. That he was the bad guy. But through Rumi's attention, through Rumi's love, through what he saw in her as a half demon, that piqued his interest. And he goes, oh, wait, if she can be good, does that mean I can? No. And he went through that. He's like, no, I can't. Because the demon in his head, literally, the voice in his head was telling him, do you really think that I would ever let you forget what you did to your mother and your sister? We all go through that.
Yeah.
Do you remember what you did on March 7th, 2017, when you didn't help that homeless lady on the side of the street? We all have felt that, right? And Genu, literally, the demon in his head is literally our voices. That's the analogy for the voices in our head that tell us all the things that make us feel shitty. That's what I love about this movie, because I have a lot of those. And and Genu,
well, I think it's the human moments. Like I like what you said, the fact that so a lot, and I see this in movies in general. They're trying to make us as humans so palatable that anyone that does, and the time we live on, people, it's more the term associate. I associate as a male. I suppose I'm a female. Like, so we have, but it's like I identify as this. Okay, so respect all that. Like, cool beans. Like, it's great. But
it's more masculinity and femininity, I think, is probably the better way to put it.
Yes, and I love that. So please, people, put comments in the below, because I'm just always on a journey of learning. I'm a very curious person, and so I have found that, like, if I like to keep up to date on things, but I'd rather people that care about a certain topic or identify in a certain way to explain it to me as someone who identifies in a certain way, because then I can hear it from your perspective. I tend to not like to look up things online and go, oh, must be what that label means. No, just tell me if you identify that. And that's, so one of the things my brother said the same thing. And he identifies as they, them. And he said, even in movies, he said, he says when they try to make a movie for a certain group, they still don't allow them to be fully them because they're still trying to make it palatable. So what you
Yep.
said there, for someone as a man who's going, I identify, like, to feel this way, to see what's been happening in movies. We talked about this in the Hulk and different things, and we see it with women. We see it with every aspect. They remove something about them that makes them feel shame. There's
Yes.
always this blanket of shame of going, you should hide yourself, from cultures to like just to different races of going, oh, let's make you look a little more palatable. Let's make you look a little this way. Let's do your hair a little bit different this
Yeah.
way. Let's change your accent a little bit. So, I remember having a friend who was from France, and when she moved over here, she was like, her parents were really worked hard to make sure she did not have her accent, so she blended in. Now, that's fine. That was their choice. But when I see that, that's what constantly what I see in movies. Oh, let's make sure our version of palatable. And so for me to hear you be able to say that's the first time you've seen like a male character be able to have all aspects of himself and not be shamed in a long time is amazing, because that's what I miss in movies where, oh, even like a woman, we can be sexy and we can be powerful and we can be fucking nurturing. Like
Yeah.
I am, my personality, I've talked to David about this. I am, and this is, everyone do their own thing. But for me, no matter the type of relationship I'm in, I will always be like, hey, I'm financially going to bring my own money to the table. If I have a dream, I'm going to back my own dream. I don't expect anyone else to back
Right.
my own dream. That is no discourse on anyone else that isn't, or any other female that's going, hey, I have a partner that's willing to fund. I don't care. I really,
No,
I
do whatever you
literally
want.
could
Yeah.
care less. Like, but for me, that is who I am. I'm a very fiercely independent person that way, and I know my look and all that, but I'm also an extremely nurturing, very like I have a feminine, nurturing mother side to me, even though I don't have children, that I love to lean into. And so we have all these aspects. I hate being defined as one thing. I let people define me. Most people think I'm a lesbian, and I can't. I've had to bring over David to be like, dude, here's our wedding photos. They're like, there's no way you have to be a lesbian. And I'm like, okay, whatever makes you comfortable. But I'm like, we are so many things. And so to
Yeah.
hear
Yeah.
you bring that up, I just want to say I loved that, because I saw that also in the movie, and I loved his character for that, because I was like, oh my
Well,
goodness, I love this character.
did you also see, and this is that part and this part are my two favorite parts, is that Rumi treated him like a person, right?
Yes.
Like obviously, like, and look, I sound like I'm talking crap, but I watch a lot of movies and TV shows. I see it, and my experience is that men are the butt of every joke. Men are the bad guy in every movie I watch. Men are scumbags or whatever in every movie. Every movie, like the She-Hulk turned the Hulk into nothing, killed him. They killed they killed one of the greatest comic book characters of all time, and every fan of him all at the same time, because his aggression, his masculinity, his testosterone, whatever, was too much for the public.
Which also
Don't,
symbolized his pain was too much, because if
yeah,
you,
exactly.
and this is what I look at, they didn't tell the full story, because in the comic books, like you've told me, this person had all this anger, had all this from the amount of abuse and loss of his mother, the pain as a child. And I think that's where this show was able to show you in a couple seconds the reason why this person was a demon in this was because he felt the shame from this. And
Right,
so what the She-Hulk did is it showed a blip of who that person was at their rage, and didn't actually show the reason to where the backstory to who they are. And
right.
that's who we are as humans. I'm like, oh, people will give me a title of who I am, but I'm like, you have no idea where that came from. And you're simplifying, you're diminishing a whole life story of pain,
Yeah.
of me becoming the best version of myself from my pain.
And not just the Hulks, but every person who's ever related to every person that's ever related to the Hulk, with pain, anger,
Yeah.
any loss.
Oh, boy or
Any,
male, female, bi, trans, like all
yeah,
of it.
oh
Like
yeah, anybody. Yeah,
you
no,
could,
no.
because that's how I was when I loved the Hulk when I first saw. I'm trying to remember which one it was because there was a lot of Hulks I didn't like. It was oh
It
my
might have been
gosh.
the Edward Norton one.
Yep,
A
it's
lot of
Edward
people
Norton.
like the Edward Norton one. I like the
Yeah.
Eric Bana one. I thought Eric Bana was a great respect. That's a different story. We can talk about the Hulk in another podcast. Maybe not. That might need to be behind a paywall. Because
Yeah,
I'll
no,
be
it's
very
definitely
angry.
yeah. Yeah, it was definitely
But
Edward Norton. No, that
yeah, he
was
was
but
great
that
too.
for me that portrayed a lot of something that actually resonated with me during that time. It was just a lot of pain. And so I really love that. And I mean, I also, because of during that time watching Lord of the Rings, I loved, and I'm forgetting her name, which is this is the worst. I hate when I forget these names.
Oh,
That's why.
Liv
Yes.
Tyler.
Yes.
Steven Tyler's daughter. Yeah.
Yes. And that's
Um,
why I loved her from that. But that's why I think just back to, the characters here, they gave each character the ability to show their pain and everyone got their moment. No one was removed from the moment. And I think that's what
right.
you're speaking to is a lot of times if they give one person a moment, then if they give one group as they decide, if they give one label a moment, then that means they have to diminish another. And no one's
Right.
moment was diminished. Everyone was
Right.
important. And to me, that's what the whole point of this whole story is the mother's pain was important. She wasn't diminished, but she also had to sit in hers. His pain wasn't diminished, but he also had to sit in his. I mean, every single person had to hold their own shit and handle it.
Yeah.
And no one diminished it.
But the great thing is that like we don't see romance anymore. We talked about this the other day. We looked at a list of the movies from 2025. There was not a single romance. At least on that list, Google's
Yeah.
list had hundreds of movies on it. There was not a single prominent romance movie on that entire list.
Yeah.
This movie also did that nobody else is doing was it let Rumi and Genu kind of fall in love? Like kind of, right? It was almost a platonic thing, but also a romantic. It was great because they didn't get to be romantic.
Yes.
The redemption and the sacrifice happened before it got to be romantic, but it was going that direction, right? But she saw him as a threat, as a bad guy, as the guy she's been raised to fight.
Yeah.
But he proved he wasn't that, or
Yes.
he wasn't deserving of that because he was willing to be better. But she was what made him better.
Well, that's what I loved in that song, that moment. And that's why I
Free.
loved. So the love song, when she's like, you see me, you see my scars, to see two people, that love story, that was what I felt like. That's what got me so emotional was like, oh, there's two people that can go, when I'm with you, I'm the best version of myself.
Right.
Dude, I haven't seen that in a movie. I mean, talk about felt like I was starving for a scene like that. It was only what 2-3 minutes of that song but it showed me how, as a fan of someone that wants to enjoy a good story, even in that 3 minutes, I was like, like, oh my
And the
goodness.
lyrics,
Oh, the
dude,
lyrics were so good.
The lyrics were questions.
Yes.
She doesn't say, I feel like I can be this with you. She asks, she says, why do I feel
Yes.
like I can be this with you?
Which is our
Why
favorite
do I
question of all.
feel-
Why?
Right. Why do I feel like I'm free? And what's great about that is because it doesn't just say, oh, I'm already in love, right? Because I hate it. I hate when people just go, oh, I met you today. There's nothing wrong with it. I love leap year. They fall in love in like 3 minutes. It's fine. But what makes that storytelling, I love long books. I wrote a really big one. What makes that storytelling so great is that you feel like these people are changing because they're asking the question instead of saying, I'm already there. So you get to experience their change, not just the outcome, which is the change is the human part, right? Genu learning to let go of his shame and sacrificing himself to redeem himself. That is the story, right? The redemption itself is great, but the story from literal abandoner of his family to demon with a beautiful voice, which is a great fucking character design. I wish I'd come up with it. But it's great. And then to oh, this girl's different. Maybe I can be different, to now I'm different. You got to experience all that. And what the song Free does is it asks the questions instead of telling you they're already answered. So you get to see Rumi and you get to see Jinu evolving as characters as they're singing this song. It's great. It's just great storytelling. In a lot of ways, it reminds me of oh, what the hell's that song from Aladdin where they're on the magic harp?
Whole New World.
Whole New World. Yeah, I was about to sing it, but you got me. That's it. That song transcends the story. Like it tells the story. Like the storytelling is in the song. It's basically what I'm trying to say. And it just lets Jinu be a dude, right? And he's hot, you know, he can sing, he can dance. Oh, and dude, the girls' reactions to the guys, I've got to talk about this.
Oh my God, yes.
When the guys show up the first time.
I think that was my favorite.
In most movies now, the girls will be like, gross. Why are they doing this? Blah, blah, blah. But no, they are completely infatuated with these guys, right? Girls actually finding guys attractive.
No, the favorite scene for me was when the girl's eye is popping out popcorn and the other girl is eating her popcorn. I'm like, it's almost like we're eating each other's, like that scene, I'm like, that depiction,
it's brilliant.
It's so brilliant. And I'm like, and then when they would do the sketches and just like hand them off in the sketches of their abs, and it's just like, and there's like, and then at the end when she has to slice his abs to kill him because she's still like, yeah, so hot. And so she like does it in the form of the abs. It's so real because dude, okay, that's how, like, when us girl, like, we get together and we talk about guys that are so hot and they're like the worst like choices in the world, but you're just like, ugh, why, you're such an asshole.
No, dude.
Why do you have to be so hot? And it's like, it's such a real thing because I know guys do it too, and I know like everyone does it. You meet that person that you're like, you are a freaking demon. Why do you have to be so freaking hot? I'll still follow you on social media because you're so annoying. Right. I'll try not.
You damn thirst trap.
Oh my God, I hate you. And oh my God, like, you know, yeah. And share. This is where now shares and Instagram is. Like, you no longer heart something. You just share it to your friends because you're like, I can't post my shame. I think that's why, okay, that's a whole nother topic. I think that's why Instagram now did that, where people are sharing in DMs, because there's things that I love. And I'm like, I'll be judged for that. I'm not going to post it on my story like I do in the back, you know, you know, so I'm going to share it to a friend. And I think that's what I loved about that moment. And we'll have to wrap here, but it's like,
I have so much left to say, Olivia.
I know.
Whatever meeting it is, cancel it. I've got more to say.
Listen, we can pause. If we want to pause for 5 minutes, it is.
If it's
all right, guys, we are back.
So what's great about it? What's great about it? When I saw that text message earlier, I was so excited. Okay,
you should have said something to me.
Maybe we can cut this into 2 episodes, but I've still got some stuff to say. So
hey, we're only at an hour. Let's go.
So what I love about it, and I've said that 1,000 times, but I don't care. What I love about it is that how often in movies do you see girls attracted to guys now, and it's a positive thing, right?
Yes.
So like the thing is they understand.
People aren't attracted to people anymore. Everyone does it. That's why it's literally like it's. Every single person's like, oh, I'm just neutral. No, we're not. There's nothing neutral about humans.
You're lying. Unless you're asexual, no problem. But unless you're asexual, you're lying.
And that's okay. But that percentage of the world is very, very, very small.
Right. There's nothing wrong with it. Nothing wrong with that. You just got other focuses. Nothing wrong with that. But like the whole reason, the friends that I shouted out earlier, I'm going to shout them again. Aiden, Lottie, Almond, great people. Hilarious. I love them to death. They're family now. So you'll hear about them a lot, probably. We started a whole group, but we're sitting there watching, and Gio's abs are like just unbelievable. And I send a GIF to the group of like Stitch, like licking the screen. And everybody in that group understands me.
Yeah.
You know, like they get it. They're like, oh yeah, I get it. Valid. Like that's what they'll say. Valid response.
Yes.
And we all think it. We're just afraid to say it.
Yeah.
And what KPop Demon Hunters said, it was like, these girls are hot. They can sing. They're probably multimillionaires. They never talk about their money. They're the top group in the world. They kill demons, right? They love their couch. They love taking
I
breaks, but they
know.
love their fans more.
Yes.
But they can also eat like a cow.
Yes.
They can be sloppy. They can
Yes.
be lazy. They can be all of these things.
Because
Not
we're
everybody
all of
has
those
to be
things.
right. Not everybody has to be Captain Marvel.
No,
Not
dude.
everybody has to just be a world beater.
No, we're
K-pop Demon
like we're
Hunters shattered it.
messy. We're messy. And I think that's what old superheroes also used to be. They were
Oh, yeah.
complicated and they
Oh,
were
yeah.
messy and they didn't, I mean, they were it was issues left and right, and I'm like, and so people called that, like, they labeled it as like, toxic. And I'm like, no, humans, I'm sorry, guys, let's get it straight. As humans, we are toxic.
Yeah.
Just because we're promoting and we're showing someone's humanity doesn't mean we're promoting toxicity. And there is a balance. I'm not saying there isn't, but I think that's where, hey, the pendulum has swung. Okay. The pendulum has swung. We've learned a lot. I'm not saying, because I cannot speak to movies as someone who has not watched a lot of movies. I'm talking about humans in general. We tend to have massive pendulum swings. So we've learned where things were toxic. Yeah. When I go back and look at certain movies, oh my goodness, I remember watching a movie. Oh, hilarious. Seven Brides for Seven Sisters. Yes.
Never seen
Seven.
it.
Oh
That
my
sounds like
gosh.
an Olivia movie, though.
No, don't. I hated it, but it was a movie we had to watch. Okay. But it's about these men who literally decide they want seven brothers for seven brides. They decide they want to get married. So they go into town and literally kidnap seven sisters and force them to marry, lock them in the house and force them to marry them. And these girls fall in love with them. They hate these guys.
Oh, it's an older movie, 1950s. Okay.
Yes, 1950s. But they kidnap these women, lock them in the house on the farm, and all the girls fall in love with them, and they spank them. Like,
Dude.
They literally give permission to spank your wives for them being disobedient. This is ridiculous. The fact that, like, I'm going back, I'm like, the fact that this is in a movie, that we would watch this, that it is so, I'm like, and this was one of our movies that we watched as a kid.
You know what's crazy about that, though? That was released around the same time as White Christmas. And White Christmas has a very equal role between Bing Crosby and Danny Kaye and the two girls.
No, I know. It shows you the dichotomy of that time. And it shows you that, like, so it wasn't like, and I love that you brought that up, because it shows you it wasn't just like all movies were like that. But
right,
like,
no, it wasn't culture. No.
No, so, but I'm like, it's the humor. People thought it was ridiculous and over the top and funny. If you made that movie now, where men went into town and kidnapped seven women and forced them to marry them, we'd be like, what's going on?
Dude, here's the thing. If it was seven women going out and looking for men.
Okay.
Tell me, God, no, dude, tell me it wouldn't be made and mean.
I will have to tell you, we need to make that right now. I would love permission to go into a city and kidnap seven hot dudes, lock them in my house, and force them to marry me. That would be wonderful. Every girl in LA, I'm yelling, Calby, please fix my mic. I'm yelling. Every girl in LA, that is what they do already. It's called a sugar. Okay, never mind. I'm going to get really bad. Anyways, listen.
We haven't podcasted in a while, guys. So
dude, this is bad. Listen, I'm just saying, it would be a hit movie. Women kidnapping men. Like, if we did seven women for seven grooms, I don't know what they say.
But no, I think you could actually keep the same title. But
yeah, you could. Yeah.
Back to K-pop Demon Hunters again. What it does right is it puts everybody on the same level.
Yeah.
The girls and the guys are immediately and instantly respected by the fans on the exact same level at the same time.
Yes. They're just in competition with each other, which I love. They're in competition. Which we should have a great competition. I love competitiveness between male and females. Yes,
I do too. And at no point does one of them just skyrocket and leave the other until Rumi can't confront her shame.
Yes.
That's when Huntrix fails. By the way, there's a scene where they're all together getting ready to walk out on stage, and there's a Twice poster on the wall. I marked out hard.
No
dude, I yelled so hard. I yelled so loud, Liu jumped.
Wait,
Like,
where was that scene?
so they're about to walk out for the last show, and there are some posters on the wall for, and so three members of the group Twice sang the song Takedown.
Okay.
The Takedown was performed by Jio, Jonghyun, and Chaeyoung. So Twice was involved with the movie. That's why
Okay, that
Jio
makes
showed
sense.
up at the, yeah, that's why Jio showed up at the Golden Globes. And so I saw that Twice poster, and dude, I marked out so hard. I was so, they're also on the, like when they're looking at the phone and it's showing the group ratings,
Yes.
Twice is second on that
Oh,
group, and
hilarious.
Huntrix is first.
See,
Yeah,
now
I
I
fucking
want
love
now
that.
I need to watch this again because like this is the stuff I want to like know from everyone in the comments. Like what are the things you picked up on as a K-pop fan, you know? And like
Or as an animated, like an animation freak, because this
oh
movie's
yeah.
crazy with its animation.
Oh my goodness, I loved it. And I think that's man, that's a whole other conversation because I would love to go into just like the lore, the history behind like their spirituality and what is true to a culture or what is true because
Yeah,
I think that's to me what I loved also of just like, oh, it made me want to explore more around that type of storytelling. Oh, hey,
yeah,
what's the history around this? Where did these demons come from? You know, what are these terms and the names that they call them? Like, you know, where does that originate from? You know, and that's what I think I love about movies that make me want to understand more about another culture that I'm not exposed to on a normal basis. That
yeah,
makes me want to be interested in music I would have never listened to. That makes me want to think about a scenario or a situation or see someone, you know, that I would maybe otherwise be intimidated by or sometimes whatever. It makes me want to think about them in a different light or
yeah.
rehash my childhood and be like, you know, maybe my parents were a little more human than what I gave them, you know, granted for.
Yeah, that was deep. But yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a hard thing to face too. And I think when Rumi does it, I think that's why it's the most dynamic moment of the movie. Because when she faces Celine and says, "You love, like, why didn't you love me?" And she said, "I did." And I said, "Why didn't you love all of me?" And like you
Yeah.
literally see the Han Moon shake. Because
Yes.
literally the Han Moon is shaking because the demons are literally about to break through. And her shout is what brought that on. That's how impactful it was. But the great thing about that scene, and I was going to say this like an hour ago, but the great thing about that scene is like immediately after is when she goes back on stage and
Yes.
starts singing, and the girls hear her voice, and they're basically possessed by their own shame at that point, which is why they're at the K-pop concert for the boys at the time. And that scene takes place immediately after. She confronts that. She shuts that door, and she's allowed to be herself again. So when she goes
Mhm.
out on stage and she starts singing, the girls are singing the song with her. But this is not a song they've sung before. This is a song they're writing as they're doing, like they're just singing it together, like coming up with it as they move along, because they're that entwined and they're that together.
Yes.
And that is, God, that part makes me cry every time. Every time I watch that movie, it makes me cry at the end. That song is really strong because she's talking about how everything's in the past now, and what the lyrics? I can't remember the lyrics. I know the rhythm. I can't think of but it's a
Well,
beautiful
I
song.
that's why I love when movies bring in music as well because I think it music has a way, it's the same with comedy. I believe personally that it gives us
Yes.
permission to feel things that we otherwise would not be open to having a conversation because when you
Yep.
and I have a conversation like this, our brains go into very survival mode. But when we listen to music, music opens us up and we kind of make we're open to hearing more words. And
Yeah.
sometimes people don't even settle in on the words, they settle in on the feeling. And I think that's the same thing like we'll talk about with people when someone's a frustrated, you go, "Okay, let's not focus on exactly what they're saying. What's the emotion to which they're feeling? What's the gist of what they're
Right.
saying? Let me look at them as a human in that moment.
Yeah.
Hear the tone, hear the pain rather than the words." And I think that's what music does for us as well. It allows us to feel something and then we can tap into words that we go, "Oh wow, that really speaks to me." But if someone was saying that in real life, we're like, "Oh man, that's freaking fucking difficult. That's hard to take down because that's what I love about, like, we were listening to this rap song and I'm like, oh my goodness, when I was listening to, like, because I'd listened to it just so many times. And then when I was listening to the words, I was like, shit, some of the stuff said is so intense and so graphic that if I said that in real life, people would be like, what the fuck did you just say right now? But it spoke so much to what I was feeling that I needed that raw honesty. And I needed that, like, graphic, in a sense, just like I needed those terms because that's what hit real. Because in real life, I couldn't actually say it, but I could listen to it in a song. And I think that's what I loved about this show, because they brought in the music aspects that allowed you to say things that otherwise you were not allowed to say in real, and in a conversation like this. People get defensive, we shut down.
Well,
And
especially Rumi couldn't say it because nobody knew her secret.
exactly. But she could say it through the music and everyone could relate to it. And yet she could be heard, she could feel seen, and then a message could get across that opened them up to having an actual conversation.
Well,
And
dude, that was why in
that's what I
high
think
school,
music and comedy do for us.
yeah, oh, comedy does for sure, because it can make two people who disagree about something laugh at the same thing. That's
Exactly.
magic.
That's magic.
But that was the whole reason, like, I say, like, I wouldn't have made it through high school without Slipknot and Linkin Park.
Yeah.
Because my dad was like, no metal, bad metal. If he had known I listened to Slipknot, he would have disowned me because I had pentagrams and everything else. But I wasn't paying attention to that ever. Never, not once did I look at a pentagram and go, oh, I definitely want to worship Satan today. Like, that never happened. It was just like, I heard the anger. I heard the rage. I heard Chester Bennington, God rest his blessed soul, screaming at the top of his lungs. This was a guy who was not, I try to be careful with this. What his dad did stuff he shouldn't have done, or his uncle, one of them, and depressed his entire life. An angel that saved so many people's lives through his voice and music, but couldn't save his own, right?
Yeah.
And if it hadn't been for Chester, I can't tell you I would be here today.
Yeah.
I probably would. I have a strong will, but I can't promise I would have.
No.
What I do know is that when I got home from school, school was the biggest waste of time in my entire life. I hated every moment of it. I didn't have hardly any friends. I didn't feel like I learned anything. The teachers were mean. The people picked on me. It didn't matter. I hated all of it. I got home. I turned on Hybrid Theory. World was gone.
Yeah.
All it was Chester's voice, and he was screaming for me. That's powerful stuff, dude.
Yeah.
And when you know Chester's story and how much he suffered through and the emotional torture he went through and how his smiles were a mask and how many people I see on the comment thread saying Chester Bennington saved my life, Linkin Park saved my life, Chester Bennington was my voice when I didn't have one, and he couldn't save himself. That is an undeniable thing. Like that is a heroic thing. That is a knight. That is the thing a knight would do. You know, that's the thing you hear about in fantasy stories. This person saved maybe millions of lives and couldn't save his own. So what that does when you know the story and why what it sounds like being the last song of the movie is so powerful is because we know Rumi's story, right? So I want to read just a little bit of the lyrics. The song starts with nothing but the truth now, nothing but the proof of what I am, the worst of what I came from, patterns I'm ashamed of, things that I don't even understand. This is the part I love. This sounds like a Linkin Park lyric, actually. I tried to fix it. I tried to fight it. My head was twisted. My heart divided. My lies, they all collided. I didn't know why I didn't trust you to be on my side. That's her talking to her friends because she wasn't trusting them to show them. I broke into a million pieces and I can't go back. And this is where this is the bridge. And I can't go back. But now I'm seeing all the beauty in the broken glass. Oh my God. I'm seeing all the beauty in the broken glass. That's tattoo worthy. That is tattoo worthy. The scars are part of me. Ooh, Darkness and harmony. Oh man, you're talking to my poet. You're talking to poet Cody now. Darkness and harmony. That makes my chest hairy. I like whew, my voice without the lies. This is what it sounds like. God damn. Now I'm seeing all the beauty in the broken glass. The scars are part of me. Darkness and harmony. Holy shit.
I have goosebumps.
That's good stuff. That's good stuff.
But that's what music gives us, that. And I think that's where, even when it comes to music, why it's so important for me on all levels, once again, it comes back to everything we feel here. And especially, it's like you and I've been talking about this when it comes to what we're building with the community here at Fanward. I'm like, man, we have to fight for creativity. And it's fighting for that voice to give permission for the conversations that in real life we're no longer allowed to have as humans, because this whole video could be clipped up into versions and be made into a million things.
I'm pretty sure somebody would love to clip me saying I was sending licking gifs about Gio's abs.
I'm like, okay, EJ, make that to emoji. It's like, but I think it's like when we listen to music, it's the same thing with art. Like, you can take photography, you can take pictures, you can do music. Something in us goes, that's okay. Like, we can hear the songs and then we can listen to it privately in our headphones and no one has to hear. We can sing it, we can say it out loud, because we can just sing the chorus. A lot of times people get, I think that's why I find fascinating about choruses is that a lot of times they're very simple and very palatable for everyone. They're simple phrases that everyone can get.
Yeah.
It's the verses that show the dark shit. It's the verses that push the edge. It's the verses.
Because the chorus is supposed to rise. Yeah.
Exactly. The chorus is supposed to be so everyone from the age of 6 to 45 to 80 can sing it and be a part of it and remember. It needs to be simple enough. But I think it's also the hook that makes it comfortable for people to say it out loud, to get them to hear the rest of the song, to get to know the full story. And
plus, you got to put something on the ads, right?
You have to put something on the ads. And it's so true. The marketer, I love it. You're hang around us long enough and you'll be seeing headlines and and hooks everywhere. But
everything you're saying is so true, because I'm gonna go off on a little tiny story. If we can close after this, if we need to. But all my life, I actually just released a video on my YouTube that you should go check out. And I made an entire video about how I went from a metalhead to a K-pop stan. And I didn't have any script or anything. I was just going over the story, which, like I said, it was just me talking to myself and revealing myself to myself. And I realized the moment that it happened was when I was at the gym. And every time I had ever tried to lose weight, I'd listen to metal, I'd listen to rock, and I'd lose a little bit because I was putting in the effort, but I didn't have the drive. I had the anger to do it, right? But I didn't have the drive. Anger is not motivation. Anger is something else. Anger is a trickster. When I started listening to K-pop at the gym, and I said this in my video, and specifically when I found Twice, and started listening to them, it was like over the next 10 months, I lost 100 pounds. I was listening to K-pop daily. Every time I was on the elliptical, I was listening to K-pop. I was watching music videos, Twice mostly, but all kinds of K-pop, NCT 127, everything. And when I say that Twice helped change my life, like, that's not a lie, like, it's not a joke. Like, people always say, oh, they're just celebrities, they don't know about you. I don't care. I know about them. I know what I felt on that elliptical when I could go 15 minutes and was dying. And now I can go an hour and go longer if I need to. Like, Twice was the soundtrack to me losing 100 pounds. And so what is it between the metal and the K-pop that changed? Is it the rhythm? Is it the beat? Is it the heart of the music? Is it the sacrifice of the anger for something more positive? Like, that's a science I would like to study. Like, what is the science of how music affects our mental state? That's an amazing thing to me. And all I know is that when I lost that 100 pounds, I did it with twice. It was almost completely twice. I'll just be honest. But every day, same
Did you
songs.
lose twice as much weight?
Ha! I have this joke now where if anybody uses the word twice in casual conversation, I'll say, did someone say twice? And I'll just break out into the I want to know, no, no, no dance because I know it. But yeah, like, dude, the music is just crazy, you know, and we need to have a whole podcast just on talking music, no specific music, just music and the magic of it, because it's incredible. And K-pop Demon Hunters had amazing music, dude. Like every song's a banger. There's not a single song on that soundtrack that isn't gold. And you know, one of the songs is done by 3 of the members of Twice, so that makes it even better. But K-pop Demon Hunters is the best movie I saw all 2025. And I watch a lot of movies.
Yeah.
I watch a lot. And it's just, I forget every one of them when they're over. I just forget it. K-pop Demon Hunters, I was like, I want more of this stuff. Feed me in my veins. IV, please. And more so, nothing to do with K-pop, just the story and what it let the characters be. Couch.
Yes.
Couch.
Yes.
I love that. Because they're so cool and they're so badass and they're so, you know, sexy and they're great singers.
But is exactly what I felt when they said couch. I'm like, oh, that's the feeling I get when I go bed. I just want to go and lay in my bed and eat snacks and watch my movies on my tiny little phone, because that's what I watched K-pop Demon Hunters on. I literally laid there, propped it up on my phone, had my dog. My dog was snuggled up like in my chest, and I laid like this.
Oh, you were all cozied up.
I was all cozied up, had the phone leaned up against a pillow, and just sat there, and then the little tears would just stream down my face, and I'd pet my dog.
That's another part of the movie that I love is they just get done with this world tour, right? And Mira and Zoe are like couch, and they get arms full of snacks, just junk food, garbage, not healthy food, not vegetables. They're not trying to be sexy, right? It's because after a world tour, they'll take like a 6 to 8 month break before they do anything else. So they were ready to just
binge.
Winter weight, basically. Yeah, they were going to hibernate. And Rumi comes up and goes, "Oh, I released our next single early," and they're like, and she goes, "The fans love it," and they all stand up and they go, "Yeah!" And they're automatically back in. I love that because as somebody who has worshipped K-pop for the last 6 years, K-pop singers go through the most rigorous, ball-busting shit you can imagine.
Yeah.
Diets you may not, like diets a normal person wouldn't be able to do. Like, they would be crawling on the floor. Constant dance routines, constant tours, constant record promotion, constant fashion ads, ambassador bull crap, all this stuff constantly. It's to the point where, like, with K-pop fans, we worry about the singers.
Yeah.
But at Lollapalooza last year, Twice performed at Lollapalooza. And I just watched it last night because my buddy Aiden in the Discord, he made me. He's like, "You have to watch this now." So I watched it. This was a 2.5-hour performance by Twice. Twice performed at Lollapalooza in Chicago. 2.5-hour performance. 22 songs.
Oh my God.
Dancing and singing the entire time. Now, you go try to dance for 20 minutes. Then go try to dance for 20 minutes while singing in front of 10,000 people. Outside in the summer. Dude, they weren't even sweating. They did 2 encores.
Oh my God.
And here's the crazy thing. They did their hardest dance as the second song, which now that I say that out loud, it might have been a good idea because I watched that, and by the time it was over, I was exhausted. And I just messaged, like I was talking in the voice chat, and I was like, "You guys ever worry about them?"
Yeah.
Like we love these girls. We just do. Like, you can talk about parasocial relationships or whatever you want, or they're just celebrities or whatever. We love these girls. We had them on our fucking walls, right? You hang family on your walls.
Yeah.
So we worry, and it's like we worry, and then we see just how amazing they are, and it's like, How, dude? Like I remember when Kiss would go out and do like an hour-long show and face paint and heavy armor and stuff, like that's rough.
Yeah.
But they're not K-pop dancing, you
Damn.
know, and choreography with 9 people.
Oh my God. It's 9
So
people.
yeah, Twice has 9 members. Nayeon and Chaeyoung, Momo Sana, Gio Mina, Dayeon and Chaeyoung, Tui, Unina, Twice. But that Lollapalooza thing, I told Aiden, I was like, all the respect I had for Twice tripled. So when they're going couch, couch, it's because they're
Yes.
exhausted. They're
Yes.
dying.
Yes.
But just like with K-pop groups, Rumi says, I released our new single early. What do the fans think? They love it. Automatically they suit up and they're ready to go.
Yeah.
That's the real life of the K-pop. Actually, my
Wow.
next novel is about K-pop, believe it or not. It's going to be a romance novel about K-pop. I won't go into that here, but it's really great though. It's a great story.
I think, well, that's what it's just, once again, someone's love for something, that dedication, that feeling that you get as a fan, the permission they give their fans to feel, also
Yeah.
the respect that is demanded around them to go, I think it's just really incredible. Because even just when you brought me into the Twice Discord knowing nothing about them, the experience was amazing coming into the Discord. And within minutes, I had people saying hi to me, directing me. I was like, oh my goodness, I just want to come in here and ask a million questions because of the love that someone showed. You just felt welcome, which made me you curious. And I think that's what, to me, working in hospitality also for 12 years, they're like, we had,
Poor.
no, no, I loved it. It created me. I'm like, if I could tell anyone, that's why I'm just like laughing now when I sit here. It's like, this is the reality. When you sit there
Right.
and you watch, when you choose to watch a movie on your phone, and I'm like, I have 2 massive TV screens. I have so many TV screens in this house that I could go watch a movie on anything, and yet I still choose to watch on my phone. Anyways, it's reason said that is, serving taught me everything. And I think if anyone wants to go into business for themselves, they need to serve first. Like it is, because
Oh,
that's
for
that's all
sure.
you're going
Yeah.
to do for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
Um,
If you
if
don't
you
have the humility that retail or serving gives you,
and
you're gonna
and
crash
do
and
it, and
burn.
I mean do it in the sense of like you're going, because I mean there were a lot of, and I'm not saying this in an egotistical way. There's a lot of people that are ashamed of their serving careers because they're going, I'm better than this. If that's your attitude, you're not going to learn it.
No,
Um,
no,
but if you
you're
want to
out
be
already.
famous and you're saying, oh, this is below me, I want to be famous, I want to be known, then you have no idea what being famous means. You have no idea what the load of serving means, because these artists, people that are performing, they are full-time serving. They are plugged up IV to your freaking soul and energy, and they are
Yeah.
feeding you, they are giving you resources from their body. If they're not taking care of themselves and they are depleted, this is full-time service. It is service in the form of worship. Someone gets to worship you, which means they get to draw energy from you. That
And
is
not
like,
worship in the religious sense,
no.
worship in the sense of attention.
Yes, and that,
The
and
word worship gets misunderstood a
it
lot.
does. It does. But that's what I mean is it's not what people think when they're going like, oh, if your concept is going, I want to be famous so I can feel important. Okay, you will spend your life in servitude, in not in a negative way, but it's like we as humans, if we're going to become something great, we have to first understand that we are serving each other.
Right.
Humanity has to serve each other. It's a given.
Yes.
It's a given. The fans serve. I mean, you serve by giving of your energy and time and attention, and the artists serve by giving their creativity and their music and their honesty and authenticity and the thing that they choose to express. And
Yes.
so it exchange. And so I think that's where, you know, serving, giving an exchange and then working as a server taught me that, of just like when someone walked in the door, we had to, within 2 feet, I had to greet them with a smile and say hi, and you know, have notes on them to be able to say them by name, you know, to make them instantly feel like they were seen and heard. And that's what I felt going into that K-pop group, into the Twice Discord, was instantly within minutes, someone greeted me and it made me want to know more. And I think that's what, if we looked at strangers and people and something and greeted them with a smile, it creates this opening of like, oh, I want to know more, of curiosity. And that's what I want for this community. Um, I want for all of us just to feel that warmth of someone saying hello and being a little curious about somebody else and asking questions versus preconceived ideas that you might bring to the table. Just put them down for a bit, guys. Like, if come into the Fanward Discord, put down your preconceived ideas and just have an open mind to a conversation with someone. And, there's always going to be that person. I mean, I've seen it in the community. If we added up all of the fans within our Facebook groups, we have like over 150,000 or something, I think, and of people that are just a part of the Fanward community. And I've seen over the years from the back end, maybe 3 people that caused a disruption in the community. That's 3 people. But those 3 people, everyone heard and everyone talked about and everyone felt, and more, in a sense, trauma came from 3 people. But when I look at and that's what the internet does, it blows up these things. But there's 150,000 people in there of just people expressing love and expressing that, and it can be overlooked. And I encourage someone that maybe had a bad experience from one person, remember all the other numbers that were in there that didn't make you feel that way, and just take that risk, because you opening up your heart and opening up yourself to curiosity to another human, to watching a movie you never expected to watch. I mean, if it wasn't for Cody, I would have never watched K-pop Demon Hunters at all. I kept hearing about it.
That's why I'm the best friend ever.
Yes, 100%. I need to get a plaque.
Even with my cardio aggression.
Even with your no, we are now best friends. I've now seen
I wasn't
the scars.
angry. The thing is, I wasn't angry at all. It was just testosterone.
100%.
So the way I was typing. I can't explain it.
And I was like, oh my God, he is so mad at me. And this is what I love about text. I was like, he is so angry at me. And I was like, just breathe.
Nope.
Just breathe.
Dude, I was standing in the shower just texting.
I know. He's like, I'm chill as a cucumber over here. And this is what, I love watching those videos where it's like someone's texting and then the other person's like, sure, whatever you want.
Right.
And was like, whatever you want.
Whatever you want.
What? And I'm like, that's exactly how our conversation was going. He's listening. I'm like, and anyways, and
that's how you were taking it,
dude.
Yeah, that's the best part.
And I knew, because finally you were like, just so you know, I'm not mad at you. And then my little 5-year-old anger beast, I'm just like, slow down. I was like, okay, he's not mad at me. It's not about me.
I was literally just in the shower going, we just need to get everything organized, dude. That's it.
And I hear yelling. Everything needs to be organized. It's chaos.
You know what that is? That's a preconceived notion. That's something we've been taught.
100%.
And I'm going to tell you right now.
Today on K-pop.
I'm going to tell you right now, built off of what Olivia just said about 150,000 and one loud voice ruining your day type stuff. You have no idea the kind of friends you can make by opening yourself up to a community of like-minded individuals. Even online, these could be people you will never, this group, Aiden, Lottie, and Almond. We met in that twice Discord, and we have spoken every day since. We check in on each other to make sure they've eaten. We check on each other and say, hey, you want to jump in the voice chat and watch some music videos? You can just do what earlier Aiden was watching bowling, and I had it open. I wasn't even watching it. I just wanted to be there with him. And Almond was asleep. Lottie was there, but I don't know what she was doing. She was just being quiet. Oh no, she was playing with her dog. And I was sitting here making a fake movie poster for my next book, because I always do that. That's really cool. I'll show it to you in a minute. Awesome. But we were just chilling, dude. One of us was in Hong Kong. One of us is in Bangkok. One of us is in Australia. One of us is I think he's in the Philippines, but I think he's in the US. I don't know. I need to find out where Almond lives. Anyway, we're just around the world chilling because we got stuff in common.
Yeah.
And we just met because we all loved Twice and we think girls are pretty.
That's it. And that's as simple as it has to be.
And we already call each other family because it's hard to fall asleep in front of people that you're not comfortable with. Almond was out, man. He was out. And I'm telling them about this. I'm going to tell them to watch this because I said their names a lot.
Shout out to Almond.
Yeah.
I love the name.
It's a great name. I think that's just his username, but I like it a lot, so that's what I'm going to stick to. But
We're gonna stick to it.
yeah, dude, like you find a community like this and you'll never regret it. I mean, look, Bobby, like freaking Bobby, dude. Like one of the reasons Wicker Hill's done, one of the reasons I'm a four-time author is Bobby, freaking Bobby Calloway. Let's talk about Bobby again.
Someday we're gonna find out he's a billionaire, and then
We really do love Bobby, though. Bobby
we do.
is
No,
the
it's good.
best.
Bobby is a representation of finding people in unexpected places who you would have never met elsewhere.
And John and Mel
And John and Mel.
you
Oh
know,
my gosh,
Ashley, all of them.
Ashley, all of them. And it's just like, and we just put up a Scott's podcast,
Scott,
and it's
yeah,
just
I
like,
was about to
dude,
say, we gotta say Scott too.
oh my God, I love Scott
And
his
Celine
oh my, Celine,
and Seeker,
Camilla, Huey, June,
Huey.
all of you guys.
And now if we forget somebody, we're screwed.
Allie one, Allie,
our police officer.
yeah, FBI Allie. So Allie Ortez, FBI Allie Sherez.
Yep.
Oh my gosh.
We're gonna forget somebody. They're gonna message us.
I know. We're gonna have Debbie. No, we have we have everyone. We don't have everyone. There's so many. I have a list.
There's so many. We've made so many friends in this community. We can't even name them all.
No,
There,
I'm
I covered
like,
our asses.
there we go. Rena, Sarah. I'm like, I have a list over here. I have the list of that's all those names over there. So no, guys, I think it's just this has been fun. Cody and I can continue forever, but we'll let you guys pick up with us next time and just comment below. Cody, any other thoughts? And just welcome to the Fanward community. If this is your first time finding us here on YouTube, well, and you've listened to the end, good job. Welcome.
Good job.
Good job. We love that you're here. And Fanward is a creative community where we're bringing like-minded people together in the sense of if you're a creative, welcome. Like we are here to fight for creativity and give it a voice and ask questions, not make judgments. Even if Cody is texting me raging and I believe he's raging, he's not. Once again, I need to be more. I'm just glad I breathed and stayed calm.
So you asked me if I had any thoughts.
Yes.
I would like to read you the last few lines of the blog I wrote about K-pop Demon Hunters.
All right.
That you can find at fcmerrill.com. I write a blog every week, most of the time, unless I'm lazy. Or I'm making coffee labels or something.
Yes.
But I want to read the last few lines of this because I think it's the perfect way to close out because I'm a genius.
You are.
I also mentioned Audrey Nuna here. We see you, girl. You making moves. That, by the way, she's the one that sings that line. I was a problem child, but now it's how I'm getting paid. She's the one that sings that line.
That's your line.
She's such a badass. Anyway, Audrey Nuna's a beast. Okay. So the last line of my K-pop Demon Hunters blog was, I want us all to remember the two things that K-pop Demon Hunters left me with. One, don't settle for mediocrity from the company shoveling garbage into our mouths and calling it health food. And two, something much more simple and true, something that I really think KDH was trying to tell us. We all have our demons. We just have to find the people, our people, the real family who remind us that we don't have to hide them. We don't have to pretend that we're perfect. We can let our scars show, wear them like armor, and move forward knowing that together we're golden. I'm a really good writer. You guys should read my books.
You should. So should I.
Bro, even my ex-girlfriend's reading them. Come on. I'm actually chatting with her. I'm proud of this. Things happen. The world changes. People change. People change.
All bridges are not burned. There's, just because we don't walk down them a lot doesn't mean you have to burn them. So.
Right. Yes.
100%. All right, guys. Thank you so much. Calbay, have fun with this. Hope you enjoyed it. Calbay, shout out to Calbay, our
editor who has to listen to us talk.
Editor who gets to listen to an hour and 45 minutes of us having a great time. We love you. Thank you. We haven't got a podcast to him in a bit. And so
But look, winter's over. The holidays are over.
Oh, we're back.
Like we're
Yes.
back, baby.
We're back.
Welcome to the Marrow Lab.
Oh my God. I'm so excited about the Marrow Lab. I really do want Marrow Lab t-shirts, dude. I love the name Marrow Lab.
I'm going K-pop shopping this weekend for my birthday.
Happy birthday.
And I'm going to have a lot of stuff on my wall. So.
All right. We'll be ready. All right. Thanks, guys.
Peace.
Peace.